The Book of ZACHARIAH, Chapter 1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year Darius, came the word of Yahweh unto ZACHARIAH the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet, saying, Yahweh have been sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, Turn unto me, and I'll turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. Be ye not as your fathers, to whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn now from your evil ways and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith Yahweh Sabaoth. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But my words and my statutes which I commanded my servants, the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers? And they returned and said, Yahweh of hosts thought to do unto us according to our ways and according to our doings, so as he dealt with us. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is the month Sibah, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahweh unto ZACHARIAH the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet, saying, And I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom. And behind him were red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I'll show thee what these be. And the man that stood amongst the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro in the earth. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Then the angel of Yahweh said, O Yahweh of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Yehudah, against which thou hast had indignation for these 70 years? And Yahweh answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cried thou, saying, Thus saith Yahweh Sabaoth, I'm jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. I'm very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I'm returning to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth among Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, Thus saith Yahweh Sabaoth, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and Yahweh shall comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem. Then lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters. Then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lift up their horn over the land of Judah, to scatter it. The Book of ZACHARIAH, Chapter 2. I lifted up mine eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then I said, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what's the breadth thereof, and what's the length thereof. And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run and speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I say the Lord will be unto her a wall of fire around about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, saith Yahweh. For I have spread you abroad as the 4 winds of heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, After the glory have he sent me unto the nations which have spoiled you. For he that touches you, touches the apple of his eye. For behold, I'll shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil unto their servants. And ye shall know that Yahuwah Sabah has sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughters of Zion, for lo, I come, and I dwell in the midst of thee, saith Yahuwah. And many nations shall be joined unto the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that Yahuwah Sabah hath sent me unto thee. And Yahuwah shall inherit Judah, his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he's raised up out of his holy habitation. ZACHARIAH, chapter 3. Behold me, Yahshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of Yahuwah, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, Yahuwah rebuke thee, Satan. Even Yahuwah that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Joshua was clothed in filthy garments, and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with the change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments, and the angel of Yahuwah stood by. And the angel of Yahuwah protested unto Joshua, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and thou shalt keep my courts, and I'll give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I'll bring forth my servant, the branch. For behold, the stone I've laid before Joshua. Upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I'll engrave the graving therefore, saith the Lord of hosts. I'll remove the iniquity from that land in one day. And in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall ye call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. The book of Zechariah, chapter 4. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man awakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I've looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and its 7 lamps thereon, and the 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one on the right side of the bowl, and one on the left side thereof. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, What are these, my Lord? And the angel that talked with me answered me and said unto me, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel. Who art thou, great mountain before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel has laid the foundations of this house. His hand shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that Yahuwah Sabah has sent me unto you. For who has despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahuwah, which run to and fro in the whole earth. Then I answered and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees on the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he said, These are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 5. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. And I'll bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see what it is that goeth forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. And he said, Moreover, this is their resemblance throughout all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast away the lead upon the mouth thereof. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I unto the angel that talked with me, Whether do these that bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 6. And I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. In the first chariot were red horses, and in the second chariot black horses, and in the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot grizzled and bay horses. Then I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, These are the 4 spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Adon of all the earth. The black horses, which are therein, go forth into the north country, and the white go forth after them, and the grizzled go forth to the south country. And the bay went forth and sought to go that they might walk to and fro in the earth. And he said, Get ye hence. So they walked to and fro through the earth. Then cried he upon me and spake to me, saying, Behold, these that go toward the north country have quieted my spirit in the north country. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Take them of the captivity, even Heldaiah, Tobiah, and Jedaiah, which are come back from Babylon, and come thou the same day and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Then take silver and gold and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Joshua, the son of Joshadek the high priest, and speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, Behold the man whose name is the branch. He shall grow up out of his place, even he shall build a temple of Yah, and shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and shall be the priest. And upon his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. In ZACHARIAH 6 and 14. And the crown shall be to Elam, and to Abijah, and to Jedaiah, and Han, the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial unto the temple of Yah. And they that are far off shall come and build in the temple of Yahweh, and they shall know that Yahweh Sabah hath sent me unto you. And this shall come to pass, if you will diligently obey the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 7. And it came to pass in the 4th year of Darius the king that the word of YHWH came to Zachariah in the 4th day of the 9th month, even in Sexyy. When they had sent unto the house of God ZACHARIAH and melodic and their men to pray before YHWH, and to speak unto the priests that are in the house of the Lord of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, should I weep in the 5th month, separating myself, as I have done for so many years? Then came the word of the Lord of hosts, saying, speak unto all of the people and to the priests, saying, when ye fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th month, even those 70 years, did ye at all fast to me, even to me? And when you did eat and drink, did you not eat for yourselves, even drink for yourselves? Should you not hear the words which YHWH cried by the former prophets? When Jerusalem was inhabited in prosperity, and the cities thereof around about her, when the men inhabited the south and in the plain. And the word of the Lord came to Zachariah, saying, thus saith YHWH of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassions, every man to his brother, and oppress not the widow or the fatherless, the stranger or the poor. Let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your hearts. And they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, so that they should not hear. Yeah, they made their hearts as an adamant stone, lest they would hear the law, the words which YHWH of hosts have sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from YHWH Sabaoth. Therefore it's come to pass, that as he cried and they would not hear, so they cried and I would not hear, saith the Lord of hosts. But I will scatter them with the whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate. The book of Zachariah, chapter 8. Again the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with a great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with a great fury. Thus saith YHWH, I've returned unto Zion, and I've dwelt in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man in his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus says YHWH Sabaoth, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnants of the people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, said the Lord of hosts. Thus saith YHWH Sabaoth, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I'll bring them that dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they that be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. YHWH Sabaoth, let your hands be strong. Ye that hear in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the days of the foundation of the house. Thus saith YHWH Sabaoth, let your hands be strong. Ye that hear in these days the words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the day that the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast. Neither was there any peace to him that went in or came out, because of the affliction. For I set all men every one against his neighbor. But now I will not be unto the residue of this people, as in the former days, say YHWH Sabaoth. For the seed shall be prosperous, and the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their due. And I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. And it shall come to pass, as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah and O house of Israel, so I will save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, and I repented not. So again I've thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the none of you imagine evil in his hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith YHWH. And the word of YHWH Sabah came unto me, saying, Thus saith YHWH Sabah, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Judah. Joy and gladness and cheerful feast. Therefore love the truth and peace. It shall come to pass that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities. And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to pray before YHWH and to seek the Lord of hosts. I'll go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and pray before YHWH. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. In those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Yahudi, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 9. The burden of the word of Yah in the land of Harak, and Damascus shall be the rest thereof, when the eyes of man, as of all the tribes of Israel, shall be towards YHWH. And Hamath also shall border thereby, Tyrus and Zidon, though it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heaped up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the streets. Behold, the Lord shall cast her out, and he'll smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire. Ashkelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. And Ekron, for her expectation, shall be ashamed. And the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. And a bastard should dwell in Ashdod. And I'll cut off the pride of the Philistines, and I'll take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abominations from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God, and he shall be as a governor in Judah, and Ekron as a Jebusite. And I'll encamp about mine house because of the army, because of him that passes by, and because of him that returneth. And no oppressor shall pass through them anymore. For now I've seen with my own eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a coat the fold of an ass. And I'll cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen. And his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends of the earth. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein there is no water. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. ZACHARIAH 9 and 13. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and have made thee as the sword of a mighty man. And YHWH shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And Adonai, YHWH, shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with the whirlwinds of the south. And YHWH shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones. And they shall drink and make noise as through wine, and shall be filled like bowls as the corner of the altar. And YHWH, Elohim, shall save them that day as the flock of his people. For they shall be as stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 10. Ask ye of the Lord rain in the time of the latter rain. So YHWH shall make bright clouds and give them showers of rain to everyone grass in the field. But the idols have spoken vanity, and the diviners have seen a lie and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain, therefore they went their way as a flock. They were troubled because there was no shepherd. My anger was kindled against the shepherds, and I punished the goats. For the Lord of hosts hath visited his flock in the house of Judah, and have made them as his goodly horse in battle. Out of him came forth the corner, out of him came forth the nail, out of him came forth the battle bow, out of him every oppressor together. And they shall be as mighty men, which tread down their enemies in the mire in the streets of battle. And they shall fight because of YHWH is with them. And the riders on the horses shall be confounded. And I'll strengthen the house of Judah, and I'll save the house of Joseph. And I'll bring them again to place them, for I'll have mercy upon them. And they shall be as though I've not cast them off. For I'm YHWH, their Elohim, and I'll hear them. And they of Ephraim shall be like mighty men, and their heart shall rejoice as through new wine. Yeah, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in YHWH. I'll hiss for them together, for I've redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I'll sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries. And they shall live with their children and turn again. And I'll bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria. And I'll bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for him. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea. And all the depths of the river shall dry up. And the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. And I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, saith YHWH. ZACHARIAH chapter 11. Open thy doors, O Lebanon, that the fire might devour thy cedars. Howl, O fir trees, for the cedar is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O ye oaks of Bashan, for the forest of the vintage is come down. There's a voice of howling of the shepherds, for their glory is spoiled. A voice of roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. Thus saith YHWH, my Elohim, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I'm rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. For I'll no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith YHWH. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king. And they shall smite the land, and out of their hand I'll not deliver them. And I will feed the flock of the slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staffs, the one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their soul also abhorred me. Then said I'll not feed you. That die, let it die. And that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. And let the rest eat every one the flesh of another. And I took my staff, even beauty, and cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant which I made with all the people. And it was broken in that day. So the core of the flock that waited on me knew that it was the word of YHWH, and said unto them, if ye think good, give me a price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for me my price, 30 pieces of silver. And YHWH said unto me, cast it unto the potter, a goodly price that I was priced at of him. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them into the powder of the house of the Lord. Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. And Yahweh said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I'll raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that shall be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still. But he shall eat the fat, and tear their claws into pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd, that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. And his arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 12. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith Yahweh, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within them. Behold, I'll make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people around about, when they shall be in a siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all the people, and all that burden themselves with it shall be cut into pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith Yahweh, I'll smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I'll open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, that the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and in the Lord of hosts their God. And in that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people around about on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even Jerusalem. And the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Jerusalem. And in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I'll seek to destroy the nations that come up against Jerusalem. And I'll pour out upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplications. And they that shall look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as in the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in that valley of Megiddon. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Shimei apart, and their wives apart, all the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 13. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Shabbat, that I'll cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I'll cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass, when any shall yet prophesy, that his father and his mother that begot him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of Yahweh. And his father and his mother that begot him shall thrust him through when he prophesies. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he had prophesied. Neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive, but he shall say, I'm no prophet, I'm a husbandman. For man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thine hand? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in my house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that's my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I'll turn my hands upon my little ones. And it shall come to pass that in the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I'll hear them. And I'll say, it is my people. And they shall say, YHWH is my Elohim. The book of ZACHARIAH, chapter 14. Behold, the day of YHWH cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. And I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And the city shall be taken, and the houses raffled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of the battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave into the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west. And there shall be a great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yeah, ye shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah the king of Judah. And YHWH my Elohim shall come, and all the saints with thee. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall not be known to YHWH, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that evening time shall be light. And it shall be that day that living water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them towards the former sea, and half of them towards the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And YHWH shall be king over all the earth. And in that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one. And YHWH shall be king over all the earth. And in that day there shall be one God, YHWH, Akkad. And all the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem. And it shall be lifted up, and the inhabitants in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, from the tower of Hananeel unto the king's winepress. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this shall be the plague wherewith YHWH shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouths. And it shall come to pass that day that a great tumult from YHWH shall be among them. And it shall come that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them. And they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Then Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen around about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse and of the mule and of the camel and of the ass and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King YHWH Sabaoth, to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them there shall be no rain. And the family of Egypt that go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be a plague, wherewith the Lord shall smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And in that day shall there be veils upon the horses, holiness unto Yahweh, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yeah, every pot in Jerusalem and Judah shall be holiness unto Yahweh, Sabbath. And all that sacrifice shall come and take of them and seed therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the Lord of hosts.